Hey guys, now listen, the majority of the population has a really hard time asking for things. I don't know if you noticed that. I don't know if you've experienced that, but it's hard to ask. In fact, we were just having a meeting as a team, and you'll see a new face today. He's even a new face because I haven't seen him with the epic beard, Robbie. And we were just talking about like it's hard to ask, even from those people that they've helped. So people that maybe owe you something, it's hard to ask them for stuff. For some, the idea of it is downright terrifying. But if you were going to succeed in launching a product or a service, and we've been talking a lot lately about finding affiliates, you're going to have to get over your fears and learn how to ask. Now, I received a very common question from a guy who reads my blog, Adam Franklin. Adam is actually a really good friend of mine now, and he's been one of the top partners in probably half a dozen launches that we've run. And he's one of my favorite people in online marketing. And you should definitely look him up, Google him, Adam Franklin. He's in Australia. Follow his blog. He asked, the number one thing I struggle with is the ask. The ask, especially when I ask people to support me. And he goes on to say, I'm totally fine supporting other people's launches, as you probably noticed. Yes, Adam, I have. And I spent the last 18 months forming and strengthening relationships on this basis. It's easy because it's giving. Now, Adam continues, says, but when I try to recruit JV partners to support my material, that makes me a little bit uncomfortable because I feel like it's taking. I know it's meant to be win-win, but there's discomfort. So I'm wondering if you've ever felt like Adam, if you've ever felt like I want to find affiliates, but I don't know how to ask. If you've ever felt like that, that's what today's all about. Now, I want to address the elephant, or should I say the beard in the room. As I mentioned, we have a new guy on today. He's actually one of our new team members, Robbie Miles. And I'm not exaggerating how Robbie came to be on today. As we were talking a couple of hours ago, and Mark asked, like, hey, are we doing our team meeting at 2? Are we just doing it on Be Live, the thing that we're using to run this Facebook Live? Why are we going to do Zoom and then switch over? And I'm like, sure. And like, hey, Robbie, do you want to be on the Facebook Live too? So that's how Robbie's on. That's how we roll in our company. So welcome, Robbie. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much.
Awesome. So we're going to talk today about this ASK formula, ASK. The ASK formula is something I came up with a while back for how to ask people to pretty much do anything, but specifically today, how to ask people to promote you. Now, over the past week or so, and we've got a couple more weeks left, we've been talking about our How to Find Affiliates, the Ultimate Guide. And you can check that out at mattmcwilliams.com/find affiliates. Mark or Robbie will drop that link in the chat there. mattmcwilliams.com/find affiliates. And that's where we put all of the lessons for our Ultimate Guide. We're going to keep updating that. We've got like a dozen more lessons to add on there. I know we got 4 more main lessons plus some Facebook Lives. And then we've got some bonus lessons. So it'll be about a dozen in total. And then we've got a resource that I want to mention for you, mattmcwilliams.com/first100. It's mattmcwilliams.com/first100. You can download my free report, your first 100 affiliates. I've got 15 places to find awesome affiliates. And one of the things we're doing as we go through this series on how to find affiliates is we're kind of going through that report. So you'll want to have that. So Robbie, I want to put you on the spot here. Robbie has literally no idea what's coming. And I don't have any idea what's coming until we get into the Ask Formula. Robbie, you've been an affiliate for quite a bit of products. I mean, obviously, I know you're one of our very first students in No Product, No Problem. Mm-hmm. And you learned a lot from that, but you've been an affiliate. What's like the one thing you would say is the difference between when somebody asks you to be an affiliate and you say yes, and when they ask you and you say no?
The biggest thing for me has always been, does this actually work for my audience? Like, am I going to feel salesy when I have to, give the ask? Because if I have to really work for it, if it's something that I don't like you mentioned in a lot of the trainings, you know, if it's something I wouldn't tell my mom if she was the right audience, then like, why would I try and pitch that to my friends on my email list?
Love it. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. If you've got it, if you don't have a good product, if you don't have, if you're not like, I don't mean like a good person in the sense of, you know, are you like Mother Teresa? But if you're not a person that people like and can get along with, and you're honest and ethical, you're not. I mean, you're not going to succeed with anything I teach today. So,
I was listening to Zig Ziglar this morning, and I heard him say that his mom told him once, or no, the guy he worked for in the grocery store said, "You can't have a good deal with a bad man."
Ooh, yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. But I think, you know, you didn't ask me, but I'm going to tell you what I think anyways. Apparently Robbie's here, so you don't care what my opinion is anymore. For me, I mean, I think the biggest turnoff for me is when I get emails and all they do is talk about their product and what it does and those types of things. Yeah. That is the biggest turnoff, when it's like, let me tell you about my launch coming up. And we, you know, even when it's stuff like, we've helped this many people and stuff. It's like, you get through the email, it's like, I don't care. Like, I want the email to be, let me tell you how this is going to help your audience. Kind of what Robbie was talking about. It's, let me tell you how this is going to help you. And I know, Matt, you're going to talk about that as we get into the ask formula a little bit. But to me, that's the biggest thing, is the people that I hear from that they genuinely want to help me in my business. Those are the people that it's like, let's do something together. Not the one all about their launch, and they want, I've got some, Matt, I think you've seen some like this too, where it's like, our goal is to do $1 million in sales during this launch, and it's like, whoopie-doo for you. I don't care.
If it's my friend, I do, because I'm rooting for them, but most of the time I don't care what your goal is. How are you going to serve my audience? That's the number one thing I care about. We talked about at the very beginning, we talked about the fear that people have, and the fear that Adam had of reaching out to people. And Mark, if you could put Anna's, I know you put it up for a moment there, but I didn't get a chance to jump into it.
Yes, I will.
So this just shows you there's nothing to fear. It said, I just asked a bunch of moms in my membership. So these are students, paying customers of her, I presume, in my membership, to help me promote our launch as ambassadors. Ambassador, affiliate, partner, doesn't matter what you call it. They were excited to help. The people you're asking, most of them they're not going to be upset with you. Hey, I have a product. I think it might benefit your audience, and I'd like to pay you to promote it.
Oh, okay.
When you put it that way, what is the fear? I mean, like, really, they're not going to be. It's like, I'm not upset when I get an ad. I'm not upset when I get mail telling me that I can get internet that's 5 times faster and only costs $50 more a month. I'm not upset with the company. I choose not to get it, but I'm not upset with them, and it's the same kind of concept. So, and I love that. I love that. So before we get into the ask form, I'm curious, who here has a product to be a service that they would like to have affiliates promote? It should be like everyone, like, I'm going to tell you, we've been talking about this all week. If you missed the videos that I had, if you missed the video on Tuesday, it was why you should have affiliates. If you missed the video yesterday, I have no idea what yesterday's video was about, actually.
Three ways to find affiliates. I
had a total blank on that. I'm like, I had a total, like, a thought train. I had a total thought train there, and then it just went. So point is, why would you want to have affiliates? There is no better source of leads. There is no better source of sales than affiliates. I can tell you from experience, affiliate traffic converts 25% better than paid, like, Facebook traffic or LinkedIn traffic. I
love Anna's comment. Did you see Anna's comment?
Yeah. And to have nannies and kitties.
That's good marketing right there.
Yeah, like, it converts better. They're easier to deal with. So let's break that down, actually, before we get in the ask formula. Why do they convert better? Because when you target I don't care if you know that you only want 30 to 35-year-old women who make $60,000 to $100,000 a year and live in the Midwest and have 2.4 kids and a white picket fence. Like, that, and you could hypothetically myopically target that exact audience on Facebook. they still woke up this morning probably having no idea who the heck you are. And then you ran an ad saying, my product is great, please come buy it. So who said nice things about you? You said them about yourself. I mean, Mark, Robbie, what do we call that? It's like, what, bragging? Lack of humility? Ego?
Yeah.
And that's fine. You have to have that. But what's the difference when you see a commercial and it's, oh, this restaurant, we got a 5-star rating, we're the greatest restaurant ever, versus your friend telling you this is the greatest restaurant ever? Which one has a bigger impact on you? Of course, the friend. And so why does it convert better? Because it's warmer traffic. They're coming in before they ever hit your landing page. They're already, the water's simmering a little bit. Their water is just, it's not boiling, but it's, I don't know if you ever tried this, if you've taken cold water and water that's been on like a low setting for 5 minutes, which one boils faster? The one that's been on the low setting for 5 minutes, of course. And so that's how they're coming in. Secondly, there's I forget the psychological, I think it's called the associative principle. And so when somebody comes in and buys your product, so Anna, we'll use you, Anna. Robbie, if you like Anna, and we know you do, everybody likes Anna.
Everybody likes Anna. Yeah.
You've been on Anna's list for 2 years, and you purchase a product that Anna recommends. Not only were you warmer when you got there and converted better, but you now expect a positive experience because Anna said great things about it. So that's one reason why the return rates and quite frankly, the customers that you get from affiliates are less annoying and things like that. Like, they're less problematic. But you will perpetually associate this product with Anna, who you know, like, and trust. Yeah. And so even 30 days down the road, let's say maybe you have a bad experience with that product, not a bad like overall experience, but something goes wrong. Maybe you go to the restaurant example and you've eaten there. This is your 4th time eating there. And now you get a bad waiter, but it was your friend it was Anna that recommended it. So they almost get a pass. Mm-hmm. It's like they get like a free, get out of jail card. And so long term, the customers you get from affiliates are just better customers. And this isn't like, I'm saying this because I'm the affiliate guy. I'm not saying this because I think it's true. Like, it's all like psychological principles. I'm pretty sure it's called the associative principle. And so again, you're always going to associate this. And we hear this all the time in our Start Mastermind, for example. And the people that we got, I would say of the 12 people in the group, I would say 10 or 11 of them came from affiliates. And the names of our affiliates that referred those people just keep coming up. They keep coming up. And we keep hearing things like, I'm so glad that so-and-so sent me here. It's crazy.
Well, and then that just cycles into getting those people to promote for you more, because then, I mean, we do this all the time. We shoot a text. I mean, we had a guy join No Product, No Problem. And his comment was, oh my gosh, I'm here because of Dan Miller. And we just love Dan. And he's like my favorite person. And so what do? We like text Dan Miller and we're like, hey, Dan, this guy really likes you. Thanks for sending him. Now Dan feels good. This person feels good. We feel good. Everybody feels good.
And there's a lot of good feelings right now. I got warm fuzzies going up and down and stuff. Yep. I love it. Gwen says, oh, I like that. And I think I'll ask them, who wants some extra money to hire a housekeeper every month? Yeah, that's great. I mean, pay for your membership, do whatever. And Anna's was get a mani and pedi, which I just think is awesome. It took me a minute. I was like, to get what's mini a pedi? I was like reading this. These are not terms that you hear in my vernacular very often. And yeah, Gwen. I mean, I still have no idea. Gwen just totally derailed. I'm almost positive, Gwen, you came from Bill Barron. I feel like, no, it was definitely not through a Facebook ad. I remember looking you up like over a year ago, this crazy rocket scientist. Like, where in the heck did this person come from? That was when you were still just a crazy rocket scientist. And
hey, Gwen, Matt said you're crazy. I do not think you're crazy. I just want that
now it's like, this is the thing. She comes in, and now, I mean, fast forward a year later, and I mean, just yesterday, I texted Gwen, and asked, and Gwen is one of 3 of our students that have my cell phone number. All right, 4. There's 4. There's 4 students. Robbie, you were the 5th, but you don't count as a student.
Yeah, you don't count anymore.
And so, she's one of a very small group of people that actually have my phone number. I texted her and said, I'm like, hey, do you have any experience with CBD oil? Because Ray Edwards had mentioned that it might, help with some inflammation that I've been having in my knee. And, I'm trying it. And just for the record, as a side note, yeah, it could be totally psychosomatic, but knee pain went away. I don't know, could be something else. I guess the problem was I got completely off wheat at the exact same time I started CBD oil. So it's like, anyway.
Robbie, did he say wheat? I'm from Washington. I was just making sure I heard that right.
So, yeah, definitely.
How is one supposed to pronounce the word wheat?
I was just making sure.
Okay.
So when people talk about getting off, things in Washington. It's not always wheat.
Oh,
there's other things. Just making sure.
All right. So we're going to talk about the app formula in a second, but I want to address. I think that these sell online. We bought this actually, and it's at Blackberry Farm down in Tennessee. And that I know of, this is the only, it says Blackberry Farm in the back. I'm not going to attempt to turn around on this stool, but yeah, it's the only place that these are made as far as I know. But I think you might be able to get one off their website if you just Google Blackberry Farm. So, and then take a trip to Blackberry Farm if you can, because it's the most amazing place on earth. All right. So the fear of asking, let's talk about that a little bit more. I know the fear of asking. I mentioned we just finished a team meeting, and we were talking about asking some people. We're thinking about doing a 3-day intensive, and it's a very high ticket item. More than $10,000, and we're talking about asking people about this. And I was like, yeah, but there's some people that I know would be perfect, but oh man, we all know that it's gonna be scary. And I mean, it doesn't go away that I know of. It's not like the fear goes away. There's this old saying that's not, fear doesn't go away. It's just that you learn to act in spite of fear. And I mean, every time my wife and daughter are at Cedar Point. For those of you who know Cedar Point, it's the roller coaster capital of the world. And so I'm with our son today. And but I was talking about our daughter's 52 inches, to the inch. And so she's getting to ride all the big coasters. She just got off. They went back-to-back times on a 170-foot coaster, wing coaster. They're getting ready to go on the 420-foot coaster here in a second. I've been on more than 100 roller coasters. I still have that little shaky leg syndrome right before I get on. And then I remember something that Ray Edwards told me. It's two, by the way. Ray owes us $200. We charge him $100 every time he makes a mistake.
Robbie, are you keeping track of that, or do I need to be keeping track here?
And he said, when I was it occurred to me, why was I so scared of these things? That he was like, yeah, because what makes you so special that you'd be the one who'd die? Nobody in the entire history of this place has ever died on a roller coaster. The only people who die are the people who drop something and then go try to pick it up while the roller coaster is going by 100 miles per hour and they get hit in the head. And so anyway, all right. So I know this fear, right? It's dread. It's think about asking, somebody out or asking for a job, and we're terrified, right? It happens even right before you send an email. And so I don't know if you've ever done this, but if you use a trackpad, you go to the send button and you don't press. If you use a mouse, you don't click. It's that negative voice that just basically comes down to what's the other person going to think of you, right? You have fear of damaging a relationship. Sometimes it's just that discomfort. If you remember what Adam said earlier, it's just that discomfort that you have when you're asking somebody, when you're making an ask of somebody. I get it. Like I said, I've made a living out of asking others for stuff, to do stuff. I've made a living out of asking people to promote our clients. I used to work in sales. That's how I got into this online world a million years ago. was selling. And now I ask people to promote stuff. And, so it might seem like second nature, but it's far from that. And so that's why I follow this very simple formula. Okay. I mentioned it's called the ASK formula. There's 3 things, ASK, that you must do in order to make an effective ask. And when I follow this basic formula, it almost always works. Now, when I don't follow it, my pitch, my sales pitch, it's just not successful. So let me know in the comments. We're going to take a few questions before we jump into the ask formula. Are you ready to learn my ask formula? So let me know in the comments if you're ready. I saw a couple questions come in. Gwen wants it in a V-neck. Sorry.
I was saying in the comments that it's starting to seem like a rock concert or something. All these people saying they want Matt's shirt. I mean, it's kind of weird.
It is my favorite shirt.
My question is, if you got them from Blackberry, and that's the only place you can get them, why don't I have one? That's my question. No response. No words.
Blackberry Farm.
I mean, you didn't bring me with you to Blackberry Farm, so
I'm looking it up right now. BlackberryFarmShop.com. Somebody let me know. Apparel. I'll be up. There we go. All right. Mark, I'm going to order you one. Robbie, I feel obliged to order you one now.
You're welcome, Robbie.
Sweet.
I wish I could finally. Actually, you know what? They might not have any online. So I'll let somebody figure that out. Let me know if they have. But Blackberry Farms, or Blackberry Farm. Sorry, it's not Blackberry Farms. BlackberryFarmShop.com.
Yeah, Tanya said she couldn't find it when she Googled it. It's Blackberry Farm, not Farms.
And then look up, look at the stuff, and it's just, look at their pictures. It's just, it's just an amazing place. So, all right. So, questions, Mark.
There's more than one question mark. Yes. All right. So Gwen said, question. She always lets us know when we have a question, just in case we didn't know it. Makes me think of when Zig Ziglar says that. I always tell you when I'm going to say something profound. You're making me think about asking my 2 seats and butts for my upcoming group coaching launch. Is that kosher to ask someone to... What?
I think she meant butts and seats.
Whatever.
All right.
Seats and butts and seats. Is that kosher to ask someone to promote you when they haven't actually gone through the full program yet? I know that they know, like, and trust me, but they haven't done my high performance coaching yet. Can I say something about that before you do, Matt? Gwen, when did you ask us for a link to promote NPMP? Because I'm pretty sure it was like 45 seconds after you bought. So to me, there's your answer. I mean, it was like the next day, Gwen's like, can I promote this? Can I share it with my people? So
that answers your question. All right. That question is answered.
That might be the best time to ask.
Yeah. I mean, people, you said it best. What does she say here? I know that they know, like, and trust me. So they would probably promote it even if they weren't, in your program. But they've signed up for your program. Why would they not want to share it with their people if they have people to share it with? Now they get to invite their friends. Here's what I would do very simply. I know you gave them in this particular case. I know a little bit of the backstory to start, or Gwen's in our Start Mastermind. So she shared this earlier this week on our call. So I know that they're getting a discount. In this particular case, it might make sense to just say, hey, if you refer anybody, you're in for free. Because like we talked about, especially in this case, you need butts and seats. So now what you're getting is, instead of somebody at a substantial discount, you're getting let's just make up numbers here, Gwen. Let's say that you're going to charge $2,000 for the program, but you charge them $500. So they're paying $500 and they've already paid it, and you get to keep that $500 and have one person. Or you get to have $2,000 and 2 people. Or if they refer a third person, you'll give them another $500, and just keep giving them $500. So now you have 3 people and $3,500, because you're paying them the $500 for that, and so on and so forth. And so they get to have their friends in. You get to have more people, and you make a lot more money. So in this particular case, it would make total sense to do it. And that's how I would position it. So they're not going to get a housekeeper or mani-pedi, but you're gonna, they're gonna get a free entry and get to have their friends. Those are the 2 things I would focus on, Gwen. Amy, Amy had a question mark. I remember seeing that. I'm still looking to see
She
if I can
did.
Find it.
I'm going to see if I can put it back up on the screen for you.
Has anybody found
Anybody found the what?
the t-shirt?
Oh, the t-shirt? No, I've been worrying about what we're doing right now. Because as Gwen says, I'm a guy, so I can't multitask. Amy asked, do you have a mentor program?
A mentor program. Yeah.
Mentor or mentor? Mentor. Sorry.
We're gonna have to tell that story someday. All right. Yes, we do. I mean, it's actually I kind of touched on it a few times. It's called our Start Mastermind. So I know we have some positions open. If you're interested, Mark can just drop the link.
I am right now.
That our Start Mastermind. Oh man, there are. I'm just gonna tell you. I mean, there's just amazing things happening, and it for some people, not all, but for some people, it pays for itself in months. In a couple of months.
I will tell you, yesterday we had a call, and in the last week, one of our members in my group, essentially, well, you know what? It's about $100 less. So I guess I can't say that, but paid for her entire year.
Yeah. I mean,
$100 less. Sorry.
One conversation.
Yeah.
Then I know, we have just, I won't go public with this, but we have some members, members in my group that are just, I mean, there's 3 of them that literally started a business together. So, I mean, it's just like, guys, there are amazing things happening from this. So effectively what it is, before we get into the Ask formula, almost a half hour in, but we've talked about t-shirts though. I'm just picking on ourselves. It's Friday afternoon.
Tanya found a link. I got
a link. I just can't find it.
I can't find that page though. I can't find that shirt on there.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So then maybe they don't make it anymore. I'll call them and ask. But I'll use the Ask formula when I call. No, I won't. I have to on that.
How is that? Well, you should. Well, no.
We meet every week, once a week. It's a mastermind group. Basically, what we do is, some number of members are on the hot seat each week, and we go through and help them with what's their their biggest pressing problem and need and desire in their business. And so, it's just, again, I cannot stress
unbelievable
enough. I mean, how much, Amy, that we're getting out of Start, and how much our starters is what we call them getting out. We have a Facebook group where they're just in there supporting each other and helping each other. And I think the coolest thing is it's gone from, I know that, Gwen is one of our starters, and she would agree with this. When we started, it was like 12 people and Matt. And I ran the show, and every week it becomes less and less about me and more about them, not only helping each other, but just more and more about them. They're meeting, like, we've given them a space, like they have access to Zoom to just get on there and meet whenever they want to. And they're meeting and they're talking and they're texting. And so I love it because it's like, oh, somebody's not on, and I thought they'd be on today. And I can say, hey, Gwen, can you text them real quick? And she does it, and the next thing you know, boop, they pop up, and it's a powerful group. Really, really awesome. So check it out, Amy, and anybody else who wants to check that out.
I dropped the link there. That's an application. So, I mean, Matt, I think it's important to say that, we don't take everybody because we want it to be that good. Yeah. We want it to be that really good, cohesive group. But I have no reason to believe that anybody on this Facebook Live wouldn't be a good fit.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So 3 things that you've got to do to make an effective ask. There's called the Ask formula, as I said, the A, the S, the K, and it starts with the A, because we're not going to start at K.
Makes sense.
It starts with A, which is assume a positive response. Assume a positive response. This is where success starts. It starts in your mind. I don't know if you guys remember the movie Tommy Boy, and if you don't, you're a communist.
I love that movie.
It escalated quickly. But if you remember when they're sitting in the restaurant and David Spade's kind of giving, he's like, yeah, look what you did back there, when you did this, and Chris Farley goes, look, everybody, it's Tony Robbins, and And that's kind of how I was for the longest time. Like I kind of thought this was like pseudo psychology. What's that? The book and the movie, The Secret. And I was just like, that's like, I don't still know that I believe it. I think this is kind of BS. And then my senior year of high school, I was playing golf, and my dad bought me a book called Golf is Not a Game of Perfect. It's by a sports psychologist named Bob Rotella. And I mean, that book completely changed my life because it got me to start visualizing. It got me to realize how much my mind played a role in my performance, how much my mind played a role in my posture, my well-being, and like there was all these little things like tactically, like you don't think about don't hit it left because your mind doesn't understand the word don't. And so it just, well, what do? You start thinking about left, and which is water, and you don't want to hit the ball in the water. Well, if you knew that about golf, but water bad, it's like fire bad for Frankenstein, right? And so all these things, like I just started learning. And so when I say that success starts in your mind, it's not pseudo psychology, it's real world stuff. Okay. So let me know in the comments if you've, in this probably is most everybody, have you either asked somebody out on a date or been asked out on a date? Or are you incredibly lonely and we need to get you something down?
You would like someone to ask you out on a date.
So, so think about that. Like you're at, like, I've got this picture in my head. In fact, this picture is me. So for those of you who don't, like, a few of you know the story of me and my wife because you maybe got to actually hang out with both of us. And I know Mark, you know the whole story, like the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Many times.
We shared it on a Facebook Live last November when we were at LaunchCon.
Well, I know your side and I know the true story. So
yeah, my side is the true story. Okay, it really is. Just embellish it a little bit. I changed some of the facts, things like that. But the reality is, like when I asked her out, I was incredibly awkward. Because the truth is, I didn't go into it with the mindset that she was going to say yes. I went into it with the mindset that she was going to say no. I'd already made up my mind. So if you do that, if you go into asking somebody out on a date, for example, and you go into it with the mindset of they're going to say no, you pretty much determined the outcome already. And so what happens is your lack of confidence shows. It shows up in your posture. You don't go up and go, and talk to the person like this. You go up and you're like, what, okay, would you like to maybe, you slouch. It shows up in your facial expression. It shows up in your voice. It shows up in the language you use. That same confidence level even shows up in email. And so when you're emailing somebody and you assume a negative response, it'll show up in the language you use. It's crazy, but it's true. So go into it. Go into an ask assuming a positive response. Here's what I want you to do. Tell yourself why a person will say yes. List the reasons why they would say yes. What are they? Put them in the comments. What are some of the reasons why somebody would say yes? A mani-pedi, a housekeeper. Robbie, Mark, jump in. Which are paid for with what? Money. What are some of the reasons that people would say yes?
They're your friend. They want to promote you.
Yeah. They want to do it because it's you, not because it's really the money. Yeah. Exactly. Our first student in our 7-figure affiliate launch course, his name's Pete Vargas. He was our very first student. Mark, when was that? It was like right after you started. I mean, it was like a bajillion years ago.
Yeah.
And he his first big launch, just did a first launch, did $2.6 million. And we were a very, very small part of that. Why did I promote him? No other reason than it was Pete. I love Pete. Pete Vargas is an amazing dude. And I just wanted to promote him. That was the number one reason. Everything else about his course could have been true. It's a great course. It really is. It fit my audience. We made good money. All of those things could have been true, but if it wasn't for the I know him part, in this particular case, wouldn't have worked. So tell yourself, why will they say yes? Good money, fits their audience, et cetera, et cetera. Not the reasons why they're going to say no. Now, that doesn't guarantee success. I can promise you, like assuming a positive response does not guarantee success. But if you go into it with the wrong mindset, it guarantees failure. That is the key. So Tanya needs a link to this story. It's like November of last year. We did a Facebook Live, and
it was when we were in Orlando. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only one with Tara on it. So if you look through the videos on Matt's Facebook page and look for the thumbnail that has all three of us.
Yeah. Look for my beautiful wife.
The one.
Not either of us. Not either of our ugly mugs.
Which, by the way, we need to get her back on some Facebook Live. That was one of the things we heard from people.
I know we need to. We've been trying. It just, well, right now she's like upside down on a roller coaster. So.
She's playing on a roller coaster.
So actually, I had a text come in, and so right now they should be done with it's called the Top Thrill Dragster. It goes 0 to 120 miles per hour in 3 seconds. You go up 420 feet, and our 8-year-old daughter is like probably about to get on that or is on that right now. So I'm going to pray for a second. No, I'm excited for it. It's my favorite. It's one of my favorite rides. So, all right. So far we've talked about assuming a positive response. Make sure if you haven't yet, get my report, your first 100 affiliates. You can get that at mattmcwilliams.com /first 100, mattmcwilliams.com /first 100. And you can check out the whole series we're doing, how to find affiliates, the ultimate guide at mattmcwilliams.com /find affiliates. So the letter S. If you've ever, we talked about this earlier, Mark, if you've ever got an email from someone asking you for something and all they talk about is their product, their benefits, just there, right? Let me know in the comments. If somebody's ever emailed you or called you, let me know. And all they talked about was how you doing something benefits them, then you can relate to this next point. The S in ask. Again, the A was assume a positive response. The S in ask is show them the benefit. Now, to be clear, show them the benefit to them.
I did show them the benefit. You showed them how it benefited me.
Anytime you approach someone about promoting your product, you've got to show the benefit to the other person. Now, the benefit to you, this is why you don't have to say this, it's implied. You sell more stuff. But what is the benefit to them? Now, it could be just any of the following. Like, here's a quick list. Providing them with valuable content. You're going to send them a report. They get to link to a report. That's valuable content. It's an opportunity for them to join other big names in the leaderboard and connect with them. It's an opportunity for them to fill a hole in their product offerings. A chance for them to join other big names at a mastermind as a prize. So what I mean by that is one of the prizes we offer our top affiliates is a mastermind that they all get to come to. And it's a very exclusive mastermind because it's only our top partners. And the opportunity to come there. I've been to some of these masterminds, probably 5 or 6. They're life-changing experiences. They're life-changing experiences for me to go. I think Robbie's typing. Like, what is that noise? I had to think about it for a second. And then, of course, revenue. The benefit to them is they get revenue in the form of commissions without having to create a product. So, the possible benefits they're endless, right? The possible benefits are endless. They're specific to each person, but take the time to think about what are the specific benefits that your target partner will get from being a part of your promotion. All right. What are those target partners? How can this benefit them? And I just listed some there, but we've really kind of talked about them throughout. If it's somebody then actually saying that it would help you out a little bit can work. If it's someone but if you don't know them, focus on the benefits for them, and more importantly, focus on the benefits for their audience, which we'll cover in the K in just a second. So again, if you're just joining us, we're talking about how to ask affiliates to promote your launch. We've covered the A in ask, which is assume a positive response, and the S in ask, which is show them the benefit. So I know Robbie's got to go in a moment because some guy's coming over to his house to do sprinklers or something.
He's got a sprinkler guy.
A sprinkler guy. That's a total inside joke that literally.
You guys still haven't told me what you were laughing about so hard. I need. Is this the time for you to explain it, or is this inappropriate? Is it?
It's not
I'm
inappropriate.
never sure with you two.
It's totally appropriate. But this
Yeah,
is
we
not
should tell the story. One, so everybody else can hear what it is, and two, so I can know what you were making fun of.
Robbie. Wasn't this like
Yeah.
our very first team call with you on it, or maybe like
It really was, yeah.
It was like first or second. Yeah.
So very first call that Robbie's on. This is a few weeks ago, and Mark has to go because his quote window guy showed up.
I don't know what his name was yet.
Well, I said to Robbie, I'm like, I don't know what it is, but over the past like 2 years, I can't tell you how many times. Like Mark has had window guys come to his the house that he rents.
This is like window installation, not like washing the windows. So I mean, washing the windows, it would make sense that he would come like every 2 weeks if I had that person.
So it was this, and I know the reason, but it's like his old house. They had to come out and measure, and then show them samples, and that was like 2 different visits. Then they had to come and install them, but then they messed something up, so they had to come back. And then one
issue with one of the windows
or something, so they had to come back. So it was like 5 times. This is like over the course of a month, like 5 times. She's like, I gotta go to the window.
It was over the course of like 4 months, but okay.
Brenda, Washington, the only time window guys can come to your house is while Mark Severcrop is talking to Matt McWilliams. All right.
Sure.
So then fast forward, the new house, they just so right before it was like, the window guy's going to be here. And then like, hey, I'll be back online in an hour and a half. The window guy's here. And then it was like, hey, the window guy came over. I made him some sandwiches. Driving by our house and wanted to stop by and see how we were doing. Hey, the window guy's outside playing with my cats. It's like. So when you say to Robbie and I gotta go, the window guy's here. And then you call and I just start laughing and I'm telling Robbie, I'm like, I've never known a human being who's had more interaction with the window guy than Mark. And so we're cracking up about it. And when Mark jumps back on the call, we had just finished talking about it and we had just moved on. And then Mark gets on, he's like, all right, I'm back, guys. And Robbie and I both just start laughing.
And to clarify, the reason I left the first time was because they were driving, and so they were calling me to figure out where I live, because it's not the same window guy. I mean, I haven't seen the same guy 5 times. Now there was one guy that's been out like 3 different times, but it's a different guy every time. So he called and he was like, "Oh, I've got it in GPS," and I'm like, "Dude, if you use GPS to get to my house, you will end up in a field. No joke. Like honestly, I will give you my address, and I have no worries that you will rob my house because
you'll end up
it doesn't end there."
House. You use GPS.
Yeah, same with us. So I had to answer to tell them where to go. And so then I come back on the call and they start laughing. And then like an hour later, like he shows up and I'm like, hey, I gotta go again. And they just start laughing again. And I'm like, what the heck are they laughing at? He didn't tell me that he had explained this whole thing to Robbie and that he thought that.
Good news, like that's the best part about our house. Like Google hasn't messed up, and they have since like we bought the house. Because I remember when we looked up this house and we did the Google Maps, and I'm like, there is no way that's 2 acres. That is like 0.15 acres, and that house is like tiny and not. It looks nothing like I would think it would look. Oh, and by the way, where's all the stuff in the backyard, right? And the driveway? There's like none. And so the great news is like I can give you my address and don't have to worry about you coming to my house. Like, you can't find our house. It's impossible. And so all the time, that my favorite thing to do is to go up to the top of our driveway. We'll get to the K in a second, guys, because we're gonna wrap up. I love going to the when they call and they're like, yeah, we'll be there in 3 minutes. And then it's like, it's not like FedEx where there's a lot of them. But it's like, a delivery thing. And I like to just watch them drive past our house.
And wave as they go by.
Because I tell them, if you get to the creek that kind of like goes through our property, you've gone too far. And so I watch them and they go down and they go down to this little turnaround down there and come back. And I'll just stand there and be like,
just wave.
Yep.
You say you didn't understand a lot of those small town things, but that's a small town thing, Matt, if ever there was one. If you get to the creek, you've gone too far. If you have to use directions like that, yeah.
It's by the old courthouse. You remember where the old courthouse was?
Dad does that to me all the time. He's like, "Oh, it's at the old car dealership." I'm like, "Dad, I don't." That's
shut
been
down
a
in
parking lot my entire
1977.
life. Yeah, it's been a parking lot my entire life. I don't know where that is.
All right. So, all right.
That was our side note.
Woo!
So Gwen wants to know what the K factor is for Windows.
the K. I don't know what the K factor is for anything.
Did you see her comment?
In the ask formula. Thank you, Gwen. All right, so the K in the ask formula, again, assume a positive response, show them the benefits. The K is you got to know their audience and their needs. So you show them the benefit to them. Now you're really focused on what are the benefits to their audience. And to know that, you've got to obviously know who their audience is. So to make an effective ask, you've got to know their audience. You've got to know their demographics. You've got to know their psychographics. I get asked a lot, what's the difference between those two? If you guys don't know the difference, let me know in the comments, and I'll go on a quick explanation of the difference between demographic and psychographic. But you need to know what they need to be successful. So this is like, what tools do they need? What resources they need? How do they learn best? What kind of help do they need from you? And you should be able to clearly and accurately describe, for example, who their audience is. All right. What are their problems? How does your product address those problems? Why should they buy from you? We didn't even get to say goodbye to Robbie. He just like,
I know. He messaged us.
oh, did he text us?
Yeah, in the team. No, it was in the team messaging on Be Live.
We have.
I just saw it too.
Be Live.
Yeah, we never use it because we just text each other.
Oh, well, I gotta learn this. Where's the team message?
I don't want to start using it. I don't.
Anyway, that's
I don't want to learn anything new.
So anyway, when you address your audience's need or their audience needs, you make it clear that your promotion is serving their audience. So it's a no-brainer. So the difference, I see, Diana, hey, Diana, asking at least, what's the difference between demographics and psychographics? So demographic is 30. We'll explain this on a very simplistic level. Demographic is a 35-year-old woman who lives in the United States and has an average of 2 children. And let's say works part-time out of the home and part-time in the home. Okay. So, maybe she works, her life, her demographic is that, and her household income is $85,000. Okay. That is a demographic thing. It describes nothing about what's going on in her mind. Her psychographic is, what are her biggest fears? What are her biggest struggles? So in this particular example, just making this up, her biggest struggle is feeling like she's not able to accomplish as much as she wants to accomplish in her career and in raising her children. One of her biggest struggles is making healthy meals for her entire family. Because in this particular example, that's something that she takes responsibility for, maybe for lunch, making healthy lunches for her family. Another one of her struggles is she's overwhelmed. So that's one example. On the other side, maybe you've got demographics. Demographic is 50-year-old male with chronic fatigue. And 50-year-old male, chronic fatigue, household income of $60,000, and lives in, the United States. Lives in the city. Let's say he lives in the city. And his psychographic is that, man, he's struggling because he just can't do the things. He's 50, so let's go with a little bit older. We'll go with 55. Got a brand new grandbaby. And he's terrified that in 5 years, he's not going to be able to play with that grandbaby in prime, like grandchild playing time. He's got to overcome this. That's a psychographic thing. So just to give you some ideas there as far as psychographics. So again, who are their audience? That's demographics. What are their problems? That's psychographics. How does your product address those problems, and why should they buy from you? When you address those needs, you make it clear that it's serving them. So again, it's that no-brainer. You should also know the following. How often does this prospective affiliate, how often do they promote launches or affiliate promotions? How do they typically promote them? Do they do video? Do they do long form emails? Do they put images in their emails? If this particular affiliate, you're on their list, you've been on the list for a year and they've never put an image in an email, don't give them email copy that has images. What tools do they need to promote effectively? So what sales copy works best for their audience? What motivates them? Is it competition? So if I say, hey, we've got a competitive leaderboard, it's $100,000 first prize, ooh, competition. But if you just say, hey, if we have a 50% commission, great. Is it money? Is it serving their audience? Is it leaderboard prestige? You know, here's who else is going to be promoting, and you have a chance to be on the leaderboard with them. And I'll tell you, when you get to that point, you can be on leaderboards with people. It's a heck of a way to get recognized. Like, people recognize us a lot of times from leaderboards because we show up. We're consistently in the top 10. You learn these by observing and asking. So sign up for their list. Learn these things about their audience. If every email they send starts off with, "Hey, ladies," you don't need to do much demographic profiling to figure out the average gender of their audience. If the person sending the email is consistently talking about their grandchildren, guess what? Most people are pretty similar to their audience. And you can assume that their audience is disproportionately older than the average person. You know, if they're constantly talking about, things that are related to specific seasons of life or maybe specific income levels. If you're talking about traveling the world, most of their list is probably above average income, for example. So notice other things like, when do they mail? Do they always only mail on Mondays and Thursdays? What do they send out? Are their emails short or are they long? Observe their promotional habits, observe their promotional tendencies. In short, you should know their playbook better than they do. You should know their audience and their playbook better than they do. So then you ask what motivates them. Ask what's important to them. And then you use all of this information to make an effective ask. That's how you overcome the fear of asking. And that's how you recruit an army of affiliate partners. So I mentioned it earlier, this whole next few weeks, we're doing this series, How to Find Affiliates, the Ultimate Guide. And you can find that at mattmcwilliams.com/find affiliates. And you'll see a link on there. We'll drop it as well one more time. mattmcwilliams.com/first 100, the free report that we have to find your first 100 affiliates. Basically all the possible places you could find affiliates. And we show you where to find them, but use the ask formula and some of the bonus lessons that we've got on this ultimate guide to actually recruit them and get them to say yes. So that's it, guys. How to find affiliates, the ultimate guide. Check that out. We shared the ask formula today. Any last questions as we wrap up? Thank you, Anna, for the kind words. I need to have Matt do man, my contacts just went weird. What did Tanya say? Mark, I can't see. Everything is so blurry right now.
You want me to pop it up on the screen for you?
Now. It was just, my contact or my right contact just went. Mark and I were talking the other day, like, I've been blind my whole life. And like, he has no frame of reference for what it's like to have to wear glasses or contacts. So some of you can relate to wearing glasses or contacts.
I have like the glasses I wear so the blue light from my computer doesn't destroy my eyes, but that's about it.
I've got it. My new glasses have it, but the problem is I very rarely wear my glasses when I'm at the computer. I only wear my glasses at night, and we usually 85% of the time when I'm on a computer, I'm wearing my contacts. My new contacts, this is fun. They just came out with this after I ordered a 2-year supply of contacts. And I have such terrible, I have such a terrible astigmatism. I have to have custom contacts. So they're like ridiculously expensive. So it's not practical to throw away like $1,200 worth of contacts. Right. Right after I bought them, they sent me an email. They're like, yeah, we now have the blue light protection in contacts. I'm like,
thanks.
I could kill you people right now.
Well, this escalated quickly.
Yeah. All right. Any last questions, bud?
Did you answer Tanya's?
Tanya, I didn't see it. No, what did she say?
Let me go find it again. Let me go find it again here. K Factor.
Yeah, send me an email, Tanya. You've got my email address. So it's matt@mattmcwilliams.com. And I'd be happy to find some time to do that. Anna, my very first, I love that, Gwen. I love that. And then Anna said my very first online conference last month had 1,350 paid attendees. That is awesome, Anna. Well done. Well done. That is amazing. 140 affiliates today. Gosh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's
so cool.
It's phenomenal. So love that, guys. Well, there you have it, the Ask Formula. I've got to go pick up our son, and we're going to go play putt-putt in 110-degree heat. So
he told me about that earlier. He was excited.
I know. Yeah, he is. So
are you going to let him win?
No.
You broke up. Did you say no?
There's no way I'm letting him win.
Good. Because I also learned from Zig Ziglar today that a cheap victory is actually a loss.
You are full of pithy quotes today, aren't you?
I am. I'm on a Zig Ziglar kick lately. We got some good stuff going on. I just finished Courtship After Marriage. Good
nice.
One. And now I'm listening to Raising Positive Kids in a Negative World.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Also good. It's actually the new Raising Positive Kids in a Negative World.
That is that from Ziegler Family?
No, I just got an Audible.
Oh, really? Okay, I was gonna say shoot a text to Mark Tim and hook you up with the stuff from that. But anyway, Mark and I are gonna not talk anymore now. Thank you guys.
Wow.
You know what I mean? We're not gonna just like, hey, let's have a conversation. Yeah. Anyway, guys, we love you. Have an amazing weekend. We'll be on next Friday about the same time, possibly the exact same time. And check out that ultimate guide and the first 100 affiliates report. And we'll see you soon. Take care, guys.
See you
Bye.
guys.